Guys, the more I look into the facts of the Trump shooting, the more unbelievable this story they're putting out is becoming. And so facts that they had out a few days ago have now been completely changed to something different. So follow me, and I'm going to put together the facts and the timeline as I have researched over a lot of hours to show you what is really going on at this point. And I'm not a sniper, a cop, a Secret Service. I'm looking at all of this from the point of view of what common sense would dictate you would do if you were a police or Secret Service and you had these encounters going on during the rally. So let's take a look. Okay, just to give you a general guide so you could understand where everything is when I'm talking about it, here are the three barns from the rally. Trump was right about over here. This is the front of the rally where the Secret Service were in uniform at the metal detectors checking everybody as they came in. Now, there's a fence line here, and so this kind of square area here is what the Secret Service said they were in charge of. And so they were not outside here where this building where the shooter was over here on the roof. They're saying this is not our problem, and so we were not anywhere over here. So who was in the Secret Service sector, the gated sector that you needed a ticket to get into? Well, it was the Secret Service, both snipers, uniformed Secret Service, and probably some undercover Secret Service, as well as 30 to 40 Pennsylvania State Police. That's not local police or county police. That's the Pennsylvania State Police. They're saying, look, we were in here. We don't know about this other stuff. So remember, everybody inside the ticketed secure area is Secret Service or Pennsylvania State Police. Everybody outside, and they said that there were local police from 6 counties, and the majority were doing traffic duty. That includes following Trump's motorcade and dealing with the traffic outside the rally, and maybe some police close by here, close to this building, but there wasn't anybody apparently stationed right here on the grounds. However, if you turn the direction this way, this is north, by the way. These buildings are facing north. This building is facing north. This building is facing south. So there were snipers here, the north snipers and the south snipers. This is where the shooter shot from. But this 2-story building, it turns out, at first they said that there were county sniper groups in the same building that the shooter was shooting from, that they were on this one floor, ground floor, while he was up here shooting and they didn't hear him or something. And then the story changed that they were in this 2-story building right behind it that has numerous windows, not only on this side, but on this side, and the other side, that they say there were a team of 8 ESU or SWAT teams from the Butler and Beaver County area. So Butler is the town, but it's also the county seat, and Beaver is another county. So in other words, they had 8 SWAT team sniper type people sitting in the top floor of this building since 10:30 in the morning, and their job was to watch the crowd over here, supposedly. Okay, so everybody has a good idea now. So the story briefly is the sniper came over here, tried to get in the rally with his rangefinder, and either got in and walked around, and the Secret Service were watching him until he left the secure area and then went over here. And one of these SWAT team guys on the second floor noticed him, took a picture, he left, he came back again, he noticed, took another picture and all this stuff, and then noticed him on the roof. And then later the SWAT team noticed him also and didn't do anything and all of that. So this is the general outline of how everything went down, supposedly. So this is an aerial view of the area. This is where Trump was. This is where the Secret Service snipers were. These are the north snipers. These are the south snipers here. And the ones here that on the south roof are the ones that actually shot Crooks. These snipers were blocked by this tree here. So everybody saw these guys and thought these were the ones that shot. They were not. And so this direction is north, this is east, this is west. So the shooter was about 40 feet west of the east side of the building. That leaves another 100 feet more over here. This whole building is 144 feet long. So it makes a big difference whether he is over here or over here. This could be a difference of 80 to 100 feet or so, depending on where they place him. So where did everything go wrong? I don't know, but let's look at what started before the rally happened. Their walkthrough of the location.
They are big productions, stages, lights, and potentially thousands of people. Just days away at this point, we saw what appears to be an advance team for the rally. And
okay, does anybody know whose license plate this belongs to? Is this Secret Service? Is this somebody else? I don't know. But these are the people that apparently decided what buildings needed security and what is part of the secure location. That's the responsibility of the Secret Service and what is not. Notice one thing, their car, which is about maybe 5.5 feet tall, is right in front of the south barn that the sniper, the second sniper team, the one that actually shot him, was on. And so look how tall this barn really is. So this smaller door is probably about 9 feet, and this taller door is probably 15 feet or more. And then you have the roof line, which is probably another 10 feet or more. So this is a much taller roof than the smaller roof that the shooter was on. And so they decide where the stage and everything is going to be, and they keep that quiet for as long as possible.
we say likely because even the exact spot of the stage isn't made public.
There's the van, there's the top of the roof. I think some diagrams said that this was about 26.5 feet at its highest. So nothing looks out of the ordinary, but look at this lady who is a vendor of Trump merchandise that she goes to every Trump rally since 2015, except probably about 10 of them that she has not been to.
By this point, how many rallies have you been to?
Probably all but 10 of Trump's rallies. So you'd have to go back and look at that list from 2015. Hundreds, 140, 150.
So this lady is saying that at every other Trump rally, the Secret Service made sure that there was no easy long distance line of sight to the president, and that they would have a layered barrier to create a line of sight protection for President Trump from sniper and would-be assassins. She's saying this protocol was not in place at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. She said, I assumed they would bring dump trucks, semi-trucks, cranes to block the line of sight, but they didn't.
So I just find it absolutely unfathomable that this 20-year-old kid did this on his own. I believe he was used as a patsy and somehow talked him into whatever, just a 20-year-old kid is not smarter than Secret Service. And I've never seen them make a mistake like this before. I don't think they make mistakes. It looked to me like they let him get the shot off before they fired back.
So the rally was announced July 3rd. Crooks signed up online, I guess, to get tickets into the secured part of the rally on July 7th, 6 days before the rally. So they also said he came out, I believe, on July 7th to scout the area beforehand. But on the day of the actual rally, they say he left his house. His father at first said he went to go to the range. He took his gun. But now I'm seeing another story saying the father saying he stole the gun, meaning he didn't know he was taking it. I guess that's kind of to protect himself against some kind of liability, and said he assumed that he was going to the range. He didn't actually hear from him that he's going to the range. And by 1 o'clock is when he started to get worried. And by something like 3 o'clock is when he called the police as a missing persons report, which is very strange for a 20-year-old to have a report filed on them for being gone, 6 hours or something like that. So what did the father know about this kid's state of mind or things he might have said before that? Who knows? Maybe it'll come out later. Anyway, 9:30, he goes to Home Depot. But by the way, he had a bicycle either in his car or already ditched around the area from the time he scouted out a few days ago? I don't know. But did he have a bicycle in his car? Did he have a bike rack? Did he have to take a wheel off and put it in the back seat along with a 5-foot ladder? So he bought this ladder, but the authorities are saying that, number one, he bought the ladder, but he didn't use it because they say he went up some AC unit. The other thing is they don't know where this ladder is, supposedly. So they're saying it wasn't in his car with the other things in there, the so-called bomb and some bulletproof vest and some other things. They did not say they found the ladder in his car, and they say they don't know where the ladder is. After the shooting, you could clearly see this ladder against the roof, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, here's Trump's stage. Here's the 3 barns. Here's the roof where he shot from. And here is a loading dock over here in the parking lot. Here is the water tower, which supposedly nobody was on. No Secret Service or anybody was securing this tower so they could see the whole area, which is like 130 feet or higher than these 15-foot roofs. But anyway, let's see where he put this ladder. So here's the roof he shot from, but here is where he got on the roof. So I'm going to look at where the ladder looked to be of where he climbed up, but I now realize it is not the case. And this is something that even Elon Musk pointed out in a Twitter text. So Elon Musk pointed out, here's the dead guy, here's his gun, here's his bag. Here is the SWAT ladder, the tall one, and here is the so-called 5-foot ladder from Home Depot maybe, but that's not actually the case. And before we look at that, let me just state that the reason why I say the shooter is over here, obviously because that's where he is dead, but the distance is only 40 feet from this edge of the roof, and there's another 100 or so feet from where he is to the end of the roof. So a lot of media are saying he was over here. That's not accurate. And I actually did the math. There are 4 sections to this building. You see these lines here, one section, another section, there's another section. So 4 of them. Each section has 18 of these slats or these channels. And so 4 times 18 is 72. So 72 for a 144-foot roof, according to Google Maps. That makes every channel 2 feet wide. And so this bag is on channel 16 along with his gun, and he is laying on channel 20. So 20 channels from here is 40 feet. Now here's where I originally thought that this was his 5-foot ladder from Home Depot that he put on top of this small storage shed. But you see it's gray, and black. However, when you look at it from Google Maps, it's not. It's just gray and gray. So why is it black in the middle? Because the left door is actually open, and so it is covering the lower half of this ladder. So this ladder is not a 5-foot ladder like the one he bought in Home Depot. So my guess is this is some kind of SWAT ladder as well as the one that's over here. While this ladder is definitely longer than this one is definitely more than 5 feet. So unless he bought a ladder that's 5 feet and could be extended and he put it here and climbed up and then went across, that's possible. But the police are reporting that they did not find the ladder. And so they obviously know exactly what the ladder looks like that he bought, and they're saying that they did not find it. So I have to assume that this ladder is also a SWAT ladder to get on this roof. But looking at these air conditioners and everything, there doesn't look like there's any real way on to this roof. Now, you could look, there's an air conditioner here and a little barn, whatever. Maybe he could have jumped on here, but I don't think so. If you look at it from a different angle, it looks kind of far away. So looking at it from Google Earth, it doesn't look that easy to get from here to here and then on to here. And this is the 2-story building with the 8 SWAT team people in it. So normally they should have been looking out this window, but they could have been watching this as well, just like they saw his bike back here. And notice that where the SWAT is up here, the 8 people, this window is open. It opens out like a door. So you could see that there, and you can see on the side, there's also an open window here. And I believe over here as well. Now, this is obviously after the shooting, so maybe they opened these windows afterwards or whatever, but when the SWAT team was in here, what are they doing? They have their rifles pointed out these windows, so obviously they would have to be opened, right? And so while the Secret Service didn't have anybody in that water tower, or they did not have any drones flying over the area to keep an eye on it, the shooter, Thomas Crooks, did have his own drone flying over the area to scout it out earlier in the day. There was obviously Secret Service, police, the SWAT team, all of those people were there. Did they not see this drone flying around at all? And they're now saying that the drone was found in his car. So did he go over there, fly the drone, and then bring it back to his car? Or did he fly the drone from his car's location, wherever it was parked, which they haven't released yet, and just have the drone come back to the car, put it in the car, get his bike out, and go out and start scouting? I don't know. But now here's the next part of him supposedly going into the secured part of the rally with a rangefinder. There are conflicting reports of what time it was. One is saying it was at 3 o'clock and that he was allowed to go in, even though the Secret Service was doing security and found the rangefinder. And another one is saying that it was at 5 o'clock and he was just pacing weirdly and some cop tried to find him but lost him in the crowd, and that was the end of it. So let's see the two stories here. So here is a look of the entrance where the secured area is, where only Secret Service and Pennsylvania State Police were inside of.
Devoted my life.
The many thousands of us had to pass through metal detectors manned by...
You see that? Secret Service police uniformed at the front of the metal detectors and manning the metal detectors.
uniformed Secret Service agents to get in.
Here is the Daily Mail on July 17th. Around 3 p.m. on Saturday, Crooks was spotted at the rally security screening area and tried to pass through metal detectors with the rangefinder, which is used by shooters to measure distance. The device, which looks like a small pair of binoculars, would not have prevented him getting into the rally in Butler, but did put him on law enforcement's radar. The Secret Service watched him but lost track of Crooks when he left the secure area. So you see, they're saying he went through the metal detectors at 3 p.m. The Secret Service found the rangefinder, still let him in, but put him on law enforcement's radar, and the Secret Service was watching him but lost track. In other words, the Secret Service didn't leave the secure area. So while he was in there with his ticket or whatever, they're keeping an eye on him. But once he leaves the area and goes past the security barrier, he's now in the area that's not part of Secret Service. So they're not following him out. And if he was a problem, they would have stopped him and arrested him or whatever right when they stopped him at the metal detectors. Why do they need to keep watching him if he has no gun or anything on him? So NBC News, also July 17th, has a completely different story. On July 13th, he went to the rally site in the morning, was there for an hour, and then left. So is that when he flew the drone? Probably. They say he came back sometime in the early 5 p.m. hour and tried to enter the security perimeter. So here they say Crooks' presence in the area of metal detectors in the minutes before the shooting caught the eye of someone in law enforcement who became suspicious and started to approach him. Multiple sources told ABC News. At that point, the would-be assassin backed up and faded into the crowd like he's some kind of magician or something like that. According to sources, it was not clear how long before the shooting this happened. Between the time he was spotted near the metal detectors and when Crooks allegedly fired on Trump, there were 2 sets of radio transmissions, one reporting that police were looking for a suspicious person, and another more generic warning that officers were following up on something suspicious. Only 2 radio transmissions? That's not what the SWAT guy is saying. And in this video, they have Crooks walking along the building where he shot from down over here. And they're saying that this was at 5:06. So they're saying he left the metal detector area around 5 and just started walking over here. Okay, that's one story that's different than what the other story from Daily Mail said on also July 17th. And also July 17th on Fox News, sources previously told Fox News that an initial suspicious sighting of Crooks carrying a rangefinder before the shooting had been reported to Pennsylvania State Police and disregarded. And so PSP said that it sent dozens of troopers upon the Secret Service request to assist in the rally. They were not responsible for covering the building that Crooks used or the property around it. Like I said, they were only in the secured area, the Pennsylvania State Police. But this report to the Pennsylvania Police is at least one report about the rangefinder. And now let's see what the SWAT team in the second-story building reported. Now, how do you know that there was 8 SWAT team ESU members in this building directly overlooking where the shooting is? Let's take a look. New York Times, July 17th. Mr. Goldinger, who is the district attorney for Butler County, said that Butler County had assisted the Secret Service that day by providing 4 sniper teams, 4 quick response teams, and several officers who were stationed in a barn behind the stage at the rally. But they changed their story about being in the building that the shooter was actually on. He says no officer deployed by Butler County was inside the building that the gunman had climbed on top of.
We reached out to the Beaver County DA and Sheriff, the Butler DA and Sheriff, the FBI, and the state police to ask about the security and the communication between agencies and the lack of delay in the rally if there was, in fact, an active search for a suspicious person. The Beaver County Sheriff's Office tells me the Beaver County Sheriff's Office did not participate in the rally in Butler this past Saturday. Some of our deputies are part of the Beaver County Emergency Services Unit, ESU, which is the county SWAT team, but the ESU is under the command of the District Attorney's Office. The DA has not responded. The only other response we received was from the Pennsylvania State Police. They tell me PSP provided all resources that the United States Secret Service requested for former President Trump's rally in Butler on Saturday, July 13th, including approximately 30 to 40 troopers to assist with securing the inside perimeter. Among PSP's duties at the rally, the department was not responsible for securing the building or property at AGR International.
So this is Good Morning America, July 19th. They're saying at 5:10 p.m., the shooter walked by a window, meaning the second floor building where the 8 snipers are. The team was comprised of 8 snipers and spotters and had been in position since 10:30. And so one of those team members took a picture at 5:14 of him sitting on this concrete stoop that I showed you outside the second-story building. Now, was it the stoop in front or in back? It's probably going to be the one in front, but I don't know for sure. And here he is looking at his phone and also had the range finder. So maybe he was looking at an app on the rangefinder. I don't know. And they're saying the same cop at 5:28 took a picture of his bicycle and backpack. So this backpack looks a little different than the one that's on the roof where he's lying dead, but it could be the same backpack or he had more than one. I don't know. This looks like some kind of jacket or something, or like a sleeping bag or a pillow or something. I don't know what that is, but I'll show you where this bicycle actually is. So here's the sniper roof. Here's the 2-story building with the SWAT. And back here by this tree, right around here, is where that bicycle was placed. So why would he leave the bike with his bag and his gun in it? And where was the ladder? But he left it over here and walked all the way around here and either sat on this ledge. All right, you can see it better from here. You see there's a concrete ledge here facing the Trump rally, and there's another concrete ledge here. So he could have been in this window looking down at him here, or in the front window also looking down at him taking that picture. And this is where the bike was sitting. And as you see, there are no air conditioners that you could climb up on the roof from. Maybe this one, if you grab these pipes that's connected here, but probably not. This guy had some really skinny arms. I don't think he could pull himself up. Even this one with this little shed here, it's not really close enough to get onto the roof. So back to the story of the first look. The SWAT team on the second floor looked out the window, saw this guy sitting here at 5:10, and at 5:14, he took a picture, and they say He called it into the command center along with the picture. And then he said that outside cops came, but Crooks was gone. Okay, so this SWAT team guy on the second roof noticed him at 5:10, took a picture at 5:14, and then sent a message to the command center, whatever that means. There's some command center where he was able to send the message and the picture to that command center. And they say cops responded. I don't know, maybe the traffic cops got off duty from the street and walked over, but Crooks was gone. But they could have easily seen his bike back there, because this same cop, I believe, was able to take a picture of the bike at 5:28, probably from the back window.
We've learned a local sniper team was in a 2-story building attached to where Crooks was. You can see where the windows are above the roof level where Crooks was. CBS News reported a local tactical team spotted Crooks from those windows and snapped a picture. Crooks then pulled out a rangefinder, and the sniper alerted his team. The shooter then likely used an air conditioning unit to climb onto the building near the sniper's position. At 5:51, state police alerted the Secret Service about a suspicious person and radioed a description within 1 minute. At 6 p.m., the former president...
That is a very confusing mishmash of the facts that are supposed to be of what really happened. But the takeaway is at 5:51, the Secret Service knew that there was a big problem, and they still let Trump get on stage like 12 minutes later. So depending on the timelines or whatever, either the SWAT team guy saw the shooter sitting down at 5:10, took a picture at 5:14, told the command center, they brought some cops over, didn't see him. And then there's another report at 5:32 that he was sitting there looking at his phone on a news feed, as if they could see that he had a news feed on his phone. They were that close. And he texted into some kind of group text that they had and was told to call the command center. And so he says he did that at 5:41, according to another report. But then at 5:45, they're saying the same guy, the same SWAT guy, now saw Crooks on the roof and now called the command center again and took pictures of him. But we haven't seen those pictures that he took of Crooks on the roof yet. So the question is this: there's 8 snipers sitting in that second floor window, or the second floor with multiple windows. What are they doing there? Do they have their sniper equipment set up, their binoculars, their guns and stuff like that? Are the windows open that they're ready to shoot towards Trump or in that direction or whatever? What are they doing there? Why is there 8 of them? And if this guy is so suspicious on his rangefinder and there's reports of be on the lookout for him and they're calling the local cops over to come look for him, are these 8 guys handcuffed to the pipe on the second floor? Like they're locked into the second floor. They can't go out of the building. There's doors right there, right downstairs. There's multiple doors. They could have came out as soon as he saw him instead of taking pictures of him and his bike. And it was the same SWAT team member both times that saw him and took these pictures. Is this a SWAT team member, or is this the social media manager for Thomas Crooks that takes all his pictures and puts them up on Instagram for him? What the hell is going on here? So we're at 5:45 and Crooks is already on the roof 20 minutes before the shooting. And this is when the Spectator over here somewhere filmed Crooks climbing up on the roof over here. That famous video, and he went and got police, probably traffic police up here on the road, and brought them over. And they say that they got up on one guy's shoulder and peeked over the roof, and the sniper pointed his gun at him, and then he kind of fell down. That's the story anyway now. I did a video on this a few days ago, and the Daily Mail said that they had climbed up a ladder, probably assuming this ladder on this side, that was seen in the video after the shooting, and that when he pointed the gun at them, they retreated down the ladder. So most likely it is from this side, because this is where the guy who filmed Crooks climbing over here was. And so the video also shows like a policeman walking around as they're trying to show him or something like that. So here's what they said about that.
Manager Tom Knights.
He was able to pull his head up over the roof. He did in fact see an individual on the roof with a weapon.
The officer was responding to a report that someone suspicious was on the roof. Fellow officers boosting him up to check it out.
And what did the shooter do?
Turned towards him, had the barrel of his weapon pointed at the officer.
And at that point, the officer's hanging on
Yes.
to the side of the roof,
Yes.
unable to pull a gun out,
Unable to
defend himself, unable to reach his radio.
any of that. Yeah. Strictly defensive movement for him to lower his head, duck, lost his own grip, right? Fell approximately 8 feet to the ground.
Knight says the officers radioed a message on a channel that included the Secret Service to say the suspicious person was in fact a gunman. He does not know how much time passed before the shooter opened fire.
So that story sounds kind of fishy. Like, how did he get the guy up on this roof that's pretty high up? But these are the people that actually filmed this thing. And so they confirmed that that is what happened. So I tend to believe this story.
Get a better viewpoint. And I didn't think nothing of it for a few seconds. And then shortly after that, a guy behind me said that he had seen him. He had a gun. And then when he said that, I moved over a couple feet and I was able to see him perfectly. And I seen he had the gun. And that's when I started to film. My wife ran up to law enforcement and was trying to tell them, where he was. But they couldn't seem to see him because they weren't in the right spot to see him on the roof. They were too close to the building. Not at all. Nope. They had no line of sight. And they even looked at us and said, where's he at? And we were pointing to him, he's right there. Now, this was before I started to film, but we said he's right there. And they were too close to the building. One officer did try to climb up on the building and he got all the way up and he just went to get up on top and then he just kind of let go and fell to the ground. I don't know if the guy startled him or what exactly happened, but one officer did make eye contact with him.
And so when that officer fell, they say both officers got on the command center line and reported that there's a guy with a gun. And this was 86 seconds before the shooter actually shot. And once he started shooting, the snipers on the south roof did not shoot him until 26 seconds later. So the police, Secret Service, all of that, they all really screwed up bad to the point of, was this on purpose? They had 20 minutes ahead of time when they knew that there was something really going on bad. There was a guy on a roof 20 minutes before Trump was shot. So Trump wasn't even on the podium yet. They couldn't say, hey, hold on, wait another 5 minutes. He was already an hour late. What's another 5-10 minutes till they figure out what's going on the roof? But they didn't do that. Why? Now, as for the rest of the story about the so-called bombs this guy had in a car, I bet you it's going to come out that those bombs wouldn't have done anything. Even in the media, they're saying the bombs looked right, but they were basically kind of like fireworks, and this remote control thing that he had was a firework remote control that basically lit a fuse into some kind of firework or explosive thing. One was in a metal can, one was in a plastic can and wrapped in like a toilet paper roll or something. It was basically BS. And so I doubt anything would have exploded. But if it did, what is his plan exactly? Okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to get on the roof. I'm going to shoot Trump, let's say, get on my remote control, hit the explosions on my car, my getaway car, right? Now I just blew up my getaway car. So what's left? I'm going to get down on my bike and go ride the 60 miles back home to south of Pittsburgh? Is that the plan, really? It sounds more like somebody gave him these plans or these bombs to put in there to make the scene look even scarier, and the ones at his house and all of this stuff. It seems really, really suspicious because he obviously did not know what he was doing with any kind of explosives. You wouldn't need 8 SWAT guys in the 2-story building. If you would have just put one of them up on the water tower with a walkie-talkie, you would have been able to see everything, right? Now, there's some video or some talk that there was snipers on the water tower or another shooter or something like that. So I'm going to quickly kind of debunk that because I don't believe it for a number of reasons. So let's take a look at that.
Former Secret Service agents say the buildings near Trump's stage in Butler would be a glaring risk and not something that could have been missed by advance agents.
We lost a president in 1963. How did it happen? Man up on a roof with a rifle. And guess what? The protocols that went into place from 1963 until this day is that we prioritize high places because we understand a man with a rifle, woman with a rifle, whoever with a rifle, if they have any level of expertise, they can kill a president very quickly.
So here are some reports about seeing or hearing or thinking that there are shooters in the water tower.
In the water tower.
And I just screamed, it's the sniper, and he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing. Fox News live streamed the following testimony, but omitted it from final edits.
Fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And still, obviously, initial reports.
NBC live streamed the following testimony of a woman who was in the front row.
He could see the sharpshooter behind Trump. He said the sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
And omitted the following from the final edit.
Now they feel that there was two shooters on both sides. So they got the one on the tower on this side, but the one on the right side they never got. So that's why they wanted us to leave immediately, because they thought there's still a shooter out there somewhere. I'm glad that guy's no longer with us anymore in that tower. And I hope they get the other one too.
Images of the water tower show a shadow at the very top. Frame-by-frame analysis shows what could be described as muzzle flash or the reflection of a scope lens.
Okay, here's a video shown on Redacted, and they're claiming that there was somebody on top of the water tower. This is where I have a problem. Okay, but let's see what they claim here.
Okay, water towers.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, I call 100% BS on that theory, not because of the witnesses. Witnesses sometimes don't really know where it's coming from. Maybe that's a possibility if there's a lot of witnesses and they say they actually saw somebody, but that video claiming that there's somebody up there is total BS. So here is the parking lot, here is where he climbed up, and here is the water tower right here. Now, when I say that the Secret Service should have had somebody up here, whether Secret Service or a local SWAT or just a local guy with a walkie-talkie, this is what I'm talking about. There's a walkway around the thing with a railing. They're trying to say that these snipers were climbed up this curved roof. And you know, Secret Service don't like any kind of curves. Look at this curve. This is like standing on a giant basketball. And you're telling me you're up here? How do you get up there? And how do you steady your rifle or anything like that? Right? Oh, well, is this a ladder? No, it's not. Here is a ladder. This is not a ladder. This is clearly some kind of pipe. So how do you get up here? Let's say you lasso a rope up here and you climb up on this pipe or something like that, right? One, you're very easy to see because this thing is not that big. This thing looks like it's probably 3 or 4 feet tall, maybe, right? If these ladder rungs are probably 1 foot each, then that's maybe 3 or 4 of them. So one, you can't hide behind this thing. Two, let's say you got up there and you were tied in with a rope or whatever, 1 or 2 of you, or just one guy, right? And you're there and you shoot Trump, right? Now, everybody's rushing over here. How do you get down? And the lady said that there were 2 of them and one of them was killed. Well, if he was killed, he would either still be up there or he would fall right off of this thing, right? So let's just say it's one guy, he does the shooting. Now he has to actually come down. He has to get his rope or shimmy down this pipe and then start walking down this. This thing is wide open. As soon as that shooting happens, everybody is focused on this. So by the time he gets down Everybody's already over here looking and going, hey, look at that guy climbing down here with a gun. Should we ask him some questions? Right? And there's even a fence around it with barbed wire, it looks like. So the reason I don't believe in this theory is, one, nobody's up on top of the damn thing. They would be over here. Yes, that's possible. But even then, it would take a little bit to get down from here. And this thing, like I said, is wide open. So looking at it from Google Maps, here's the Trump podium. Here's where the shooter was. The shooting happens. These snipers are shooting over here. Everybody's looking over here, right? You would have to, there's no hiding coming down this ladder here, anywhere from here to here or whatever. Everybody's looking over here. They would see somebody climbing down or roping down or whatever. So there is no way that could be done, in my opinion. So this is just common sense thinking that if they were here, they would be seen coming down after the shooting. Now, if it turns out later that they go, oh yeah, we had one of our SWAT team up here, or a Secret Service member or something, or we had a live shooting drill going on the same day and we were using this tower or something like that, then I would say, okay, something is up. But until that comes out, that they admit somebody was up there, there's no way for somebody to get down in time and not be noticed when everybody's eyes goes to this. So here's the story that they want you to believe, that this 20-year-old guy who was a horrible shooter, no military or sniper experience or whatever, he could have gotten better over the years. There was a guy that came out and said that he was in a shooting class with him at the range and that he was pretty good. So maybe he got better, whatever. But we're supposed to believe that security was on point and this guy just somehow was able to either outsmart him like a 20-year-old Jason Bourne, but we know he's not. So it's like the opposite, that this guy is so clumsy and out in the open. He was just doing everything right there in front of everybody, almost as if he knew he had permission and that nobody was going to stop him. And nobody did. And so all of these calls of, we spotted him at the metal detectors, or he went through the metal detectors and we kept our eye on him and we had a report on him, and the SWAT team guys on the second floor took pictures of him, and then he disappeared like a magician, and then he came back and the guy took a picture of him again and did nothing except call command center. Okay, command center, here, Secret Service, guy over here looking at rangefinder, here, guy on roof. What do we do? Secret Service, let me ask my boss. Boss says, let me ask my boss's boss, the guy in charge of this whole thing. What does the boss's boss say? 2 times at least. Yeah, don't worry about it. Keep an eye on him, and we'll tell you when you should do something about that. Really? And Trump is not even up there yet. So instead of Jason Bourne, this guy was stumbling all over out in front of everybody with his rangefinder and all this stuff. Not Jason Bourne, but more like Mr. Magoo. So the way Thomas Crook acted, it was more like playing hide and seek with a 5-year-old, where you see him hiding behind the curtain, you see the outline of his shape behind the curtain, you see his feet sticking out under the curtain, and you're walking by going, I wonder where he could be. I don't see him anywhere. And the kid is even giggling. He's laughing because he thinks he fooled you and that you don't see him. That's kind of what it feels like looking at all the so-called facts as they came out so far. Now, Trump, on the other hand, is so lucky that he reminds me of Inspector Clouseau escaping death from all these professional assassins just because he does something clumsy like forgot to tie his shoes or something like that.
What are you doing? That's my case. Lucky for you, I'm in a hurry, otherwise you would have been arrested.
It is reasonable to assume
The drivers will smile very kindly on the one who eliminates Inspector Clouseau.
Well, Mr. President, Clouseau is in Munich. Well, I ordered one of our top people to Munich yesterday. Clouseau has gone to the Oktoberfest.
I wonder if we have enough time before the others act.
Well, Germany's already acted and bungled it. 12 countries have got their top assassins in Munich, and they're all converging on the Oktoberfest.
So guys, let me know what you think about these original facts and timeline and how they have changed over the last few days. It seems that they don't want to release them all at once because it would sound too absurd for anybody to actually believe. Oh, and let me just leave this little clip right here.
The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. We're actually told, intelligence sources tell NBC News since this tweet has been posted, that actually this intelligence briefing for the president-elect was always planned for Friday. It hasn't been delayed. But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going on. Look at the Russian hacking. Without the intelligence community, we wouldn't have discovered it.
Do you think he has an agenda to try to dismantle parts of the intelligence community? I mean, this form of taunting hostility.
Whether you're a super liberal Democrat or a very conservative Republican, you should be against dismantling the intelligence community.
Indeed.